Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Make It a Great Week, where we start off each Monday morning with a strong cup of coffee and a positive conversation. I'm your host, Justin.
And I'm Opa. Let's make it a great week.
Confession number one is we're not recording on Monday morning, right?
Oh,
We need to be honest. It's not Monday morning.
it's not Monday morning. Yes.
Confession number two,
Okay.
it's not the morning. Confession number three is that we're not recording at your house.
Has that ever been an issue? I mean, I think.
Well, we've only ever recorded in the morning at your house.
Right.
But the reveal number four is that we have Oma with us today. Welcome, Oma, to the podcast.
Thank you.
Surprise guest.
I feel honored.
We're extremely, extremely happy to have you. This is, of course, Opa's wife.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
I'm going to start off with, how many years have you guys been married?
Let me see.
Let's say it together.
43.
Okay.
And that's how in sync we are.
Beautiful.
Always.
And we are drinking black coffee, so we are keeping that going. Yes, so we all have
Let me get a
we
slip
all have
here.
our coffee here together. Although recently, Oma, there's a rumor
Mm.
that you have been going away from coffee. Do you want to confirm or deny
Ah,
these dangerous allegations?
that is the truth. That
Yeah.
is the truth. For reasons not known to myself at the time, I started finding my coffee cup around the house with only a few sips, having been drunk. And I thought, okay, if this is 2 p.m. and I've had like an ounce and a half, I'm a fake coffee drinker. I don't even think I drink coffee. And then every evening we had a tradition, especially through the wintertime. That would be our drink of choice. We'd sit down after dinner and have some Biscoff and a cup of hot coffee. And I would never finish mine. I would only take a few sips. So little by little, I was losing my taste for the flavor of coffee.
Are you right over there?
It went round, down, around.
That time before.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
Yeah.
no, go ahead.
But I'll have to add that sometimes you need to listen to your bodies for a lot of different reasons. But this was something that my body seemed to intuitively know was not good for me at the time. I had a condition brewing at some point
Excuse the pun.
that caffeine would have been bad for.
Right.
Large amounts of caffeine. So I had a faster than normal heart rate,
Yeah.
unbeknownst to myself, but it felt like something, and this was after I didn't like the taste of coffee that came into light. But I'm thankful that I listened to my taste buds and didn't like coffee for a little while. And then when I knew my heart rate was high, I purposely stay away from caffeine in general.
So are you
across
still
the
not
board.
drinking coffee right
But now I am, because
Okay.
I asked an expert, a cardiologist, and he said, "Oh, that's fine. You can drink it." So,
Okay, good.
but guess what? I don't love the flavor so much.
And Opa, how do you feel about
only a
this?
couple sips.
How do you feel about this? Did you know about this? And how does this make you feel?
Lonely.
This is a therapy session.
Yes. I've lost my drinking buddy.
I'm almost back.
I'm trying to wean her back on the coffee.
It's kind of working.
With baby steps, little baby steps.
He brings me a 2-ounce cup.
Right.
You know, that little one that's a Starbucks. Teeny tiny one. Yeah.
Yep.
So when you guys were dating, did you have coffee dates? Did you guys drink coffee together? Did you bond over that? Or was that something that developed later on in life?
Oh, wow. Do you want to tell the truth about that? How did you drink coffee back then?
You got to remember I'm 66. And
You don't remember how you...
stated.
Okay. I was appalled because here I was a teen trying to have the best health ever. I did things like New Year's resolutions at age 14, telling myself I will not drink pop or soda of any type for the whole year. And guess what? After that year, I didn't even like soda anymore. So I kind of kept that up. So I was against sugar in drinks. I even did a freshman speech on the evils of sugar. So then he comes along drinking coffee with kind of a lot of sugar and half and half. So,
Actually, it wasn't half and half.
it was milk. Was it milk?
Was Coffee Mate.
That's worse.
Amen.
What?
He would agree. You grew to agree that
It was
worse. You're
full of hydrogenated oils.
Yeah.
terrible
and
stuff.
Maybe that was, the demise of Huz. Anyway, I
Or
digress.
I would say it would be bad for a lot of your systems, like heart. It would add some of the bad stuff.
Dr. Ruth, yours.
So you guys did bond over coffee, but you had to fix him. He was a project on the
Right.
coffee side.
Right. But actually, do you remember what I always ordered for a hot drink?
Of course I do.
Okay, well, I'll help you out.
That's
I was really all
lemon
about
water.
natural.
See?
That's it. Hot water with lemon wedges, and I would
Yeah.
make my own hot lemonade and just drink that
he
along
was a unique.
while he drank his coffee on dates at restaurants.
So you weren't drinking black coffee.
I wasn't drinking black coffee.
In my defense, because I loved her so much, I stopped drinking sugar in my coffee. And that took a while,
Yeah.
okay? It took like one date, and I'm done.
Yeah.
See, because
Yeah.
of that, what a woman can do for you.
Yep. Yep. It's good.
And
Worked with you.
then somewhere along the line, I started drinking coffee, at least when we were married, for sure, especially when we found the bun coffee maker.
Mhm. And now you know the rest of the story. The bun coffee.
So growing up, was there coffee in your house? Because one thing I wanted to bring up first of all is that we know you guys have 9 children. I got the number right. Yes. Okay. We've talked about that before. We've talked about your family, but most people probably don't know that Oma comes from an even bigger family. How many siblings do you have?
10.
10.
So I'm one of 11.
Wow. So was there coffee in your household growing up?
Pretty much 24/7.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And was that both your parents? Did they both drink it? Okay.
Yeah.
So it was a family affair.
It really
But her
was.
dad would have a thermos of coffee next to his ham radio. You got to go. You got to give some of the background to your family, please. You just got to. This is.
Well, yeah.
Her dad.
He burned the candle at more than both ends, it seems
Okay, I
like.
got to tell you about her dad because she's not going to brag on her dad. All right. Her dad didn't get saved until how old was he? In his 20s.
Probably 23.
And we should go back even a little bit further than that to how your dad and mom got together. Okay, this is very interesting. This is why it needs to be
Okay. Well, the musician
recorded and
thing.
kept for all antiquity. Tell them about how this is a beautiful love story. How your mom and your dad got together.
Do you want to hear it?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, I'll try to make it fast.
It does have to be fast.
But bear in mind, all these people did drink coffee because they were all musicians. And I think it helped power their continual practice times and keep them just like up and able to
Creativity too.
be their best selves all the time. So, because they had late concerts and that kind of thing. But so my paternal grandpa was the head of the piano department at Syracuse University. And he had some top students. And he married one of the top students. So that was my paternal grandma. But one of the other top students who won a prize of a year's worth of piano lessons for free was my maternal grandma. And Grandma Mary chose to save those lessons until her daughter was 4 years old, because I guess one of the problems was that she had to travel an hour to get to where the lessons would take place. And so she talked it through, and she was allowed to bring her daughter along. And so in the backyard during these piano lessons for a whole year, 4-year-old little Joni would play with 5-year-old little Georgie.
I didn't know they met when they were that young.
And they grew up to be my parents.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that not the coolest story ever?
They were that young
Maybe
when
it's
they
the
met?
coolest
Yeah.
ever. But
Yeah.
So were they high school sweethearts? Like,
Well, actually, there were spurts of time where both couples, like their parents would get together for picnics or for special musical events, like concerts that were in the area of upstate New York. So they saw each other for brief moments throughout teenagehood, but then there was a time period where they didn't see each other for a while, a number of years, and then somehow they got back together. Now, at this very moment, I'm not remembering. It may have been one of those picnics, but I've seen some of the letters that my dad wrote to my mom, so like sheepishly letting out the fact that he kind of liked her and wanted to kind of see her again. Yeah. Very.
the nervousness of not wanting to commit too hard.
Not sure what she would think about it. Yeah.
Aw.
That was a sweet story.
is that a cool story or
That
what?
is, yeah.
I mean, is that podcast worthy or what?
Definitely.
Yeah,
So,
that's going to boost ratings.
You wanted to know about coffee.
Yeah. Oh,
Throughout the
okay.
show.
I was telling you about your dad. Okay. Her dad was a ham raker. Unbelievable. This guy is my hero. If you have heroes in life, was my hero. My father-in-law. Not many guys can say that. That's a blessing. Anyway, when I first met Ruth, which would have been probably back in 1976, when I came down here for a Bible conference.
8.
You
don't think it was 8?
It could have been 78 when I first met her because
Sure it was.
it was a Bible conference. I think you would be right because I came down here in September 78. So you're right. So I was 18, getting close to 18, 17, 18. Anyway, her dad started the Christian school movement basically by writing the first science textbook for Christian schools. He co-authored it with another guy and was with Bob Jones University Press. And that's what started BJU Press. You see what that has blossomed into. But anyway, so he's a textbook writer, author, I guess you could call author, composer. I mean, he had a ham radio that he kept in contact with his father-in-law up in
Endicott, New York.
Endicott, New York,
Yeah.
on a weekly basis.
More than like probably 2 or 3 school days in the morning at about 7:10 a.m. And he would write down what his questions would be or the reports that he had to his father-in-law. And of course, he'd be sitting there early in the morning, not podcasting, but ham radioing with his coffee.
Looking for people all over the world. It's amazing how ham radio works like that. But anyway, then he was
he'd have scheduled, he'd call it a sked, S-K-E-D, scheduled time to talk to Grandpa Ralph. And we had loud speakers blasting, not terribly loudly, but into all our bedrooms and the bathrooms. So when we got ready in the morning for school, we could hear the sked going on. We could hear our grandpa talking and our dad talking. And probably some of the kids, if they were ready on time, would go down and talk to Grandpa Ralph. Yeah. But yeah, Grandpa Ralph also, my mom's dad would always have a thermos of coffee. And so if you grow up thinking your family is wonderful, like I did, just the smell emitted from an opening of the thermos was amazing, especially on a trip, on a road trip. Yeah.
core memory.
Core memory. You'd hear that, and it would just waft through the air. You'd smell that.
But he used to have the thermos of coffee. In fact, that picture at my desk with your dad that your brother created has a thermos.
A giant
thermos
petite.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's got probably a Stanley. Maybe I think he
Don't know, but
did like an oxymoronical or what's that called? When
Stanley, you can advertise here if you want on our podcast.
he was depicting a time before that Stanley thermos was made, but he stuck it in there like after the fact.
Yeah, but anyway, so he always had coffee because he was also a professor and a performer in the orchestra. The guy was absolutely incredible. Oh, by the way, he had 11 kids and had devotions every night
Family devotions.
Family devotions every night.
Without
It's
fail.
incredible.
Without fail.
I don't know how he did it. But,
So I
here's my evening.
do remember one not great memory about coffee.
Oh, really?
Every once in a while, it would accidentally burn. When, for whatever the reason, Dad would use an old-fashioned aluminum double boiler kind of a
Percolator?
Percolator, yeah. So if you left the burner on, it would burn the coffee,
Yeah.
and that was a pretty terrible smell. And it just seems, my mom used coffee grounds for some reason out in the garden. I think it does something good. It adds nitrogen or something,
Yeah.
and helps the plants grow. So yeah, there was a lot of coffee. It was always happening. And even in our dining room now, we have a picture of my 13-year-old sister, who's probably Sharon. They had different ways of drinking the coffee. Sharon would have a mug and a spoon, and she would just be standing up, spooning.
With a spoon.
So irritating. Let me tell you.
Why do you care? Why do we care? It's funny. That's one thing I do remember.
That's hilarious.
The process of drinking it. I guess you could elongate the process.
Yeah.
So yes.
But yeah, we had coffee on our dates.
And throughout my childhood, I don't know, you've already talked about your childhood, but yeah, it was a big deal for generations. I do even remember once we were on vacation, and my paternal grandpa, he was such a kind man, and he was a composer, so he was very sensitive. And one morning he woke up, and it was at Skaneateles Lake in their little cottage. It was summertime, but it was freezing, so we had a wood-burning stove that we'd stay warm by. And he whispered and he said, "Hey, Ruthie, come over here." And he said, "Listen, I just broke our coffee carafe, and I've got to run to the store and get there by the time they open. But Grandma Betty's not awake yet, so if she wakes up before I get back, try to talk about anything but where I am and what I'm doing." and she was like a very rigid, tight shit kind of person.
Yeah.
And he was just a little bit respectful and almost scared of her.
Yeah.
But it worked out. I don't remember the details, but all that fear dissipated quickly.
It is interesting what an integral part coffee can become in the stories we tell, because it's such a social drink, and really people do bond over it. I think it's a very cool thing that God has created. I mean, God didn't have to give us coffee, but He did. And some people just love the smell of it. They never even drink it, but I feel like the smell is almost universally loved
Right.
at this point, except when it's burnt.
And that was me in childhood. I loved the smell because it reminded me, who knows why, but yes, I loved it.
Yeah.
It's a great memory.
So I was going to ask you, just out of curiosity, I know your dad had such a huge impact on your life. Do you think, or what traits or qualities do you see in Opa that remind you of him? Because I feel like a lot of times when people get married, they can kind of point at stuff and say, that specific thing reminds me. I think that was one of the reasons I was drawn to you. Do you see some of those things in him?
Sure, I do. First of all, it's a really weird thing. Not an actual trait, personality-wise, but his hands remind me of my dad's hands.
Okay.
So I could look at them often and pretend I'm looking at my dad's hands. They just seem very much like his hands. And I know, speaking of that, my dad played the piano and played it very well. But he would sort of complain and say, "My fingers are so fat they get stuck in between the keys." I would go, "Well, I didn't hear that," but that was his perception sometimes. But there is a certain sense of humor that anybody who took lessons, who was a student from my dad, either cello lessons or in one of his big classes, science classes, they would say he had a dry sense of humor. And I'll have to say, even now, I don't always know if my husband is joking or if he's serious. And there's something just about the way he looks when he's doing the joke that was similar to how my dad would do it.
Okay.
And I could tell probably better with him because he would he would end it, he would say, geologists dig acid rock. Like, and then he'd wait for the students to laugh, like stuff like that.
Yeah.
But with him, I see something similar. And even somebody was calling my dad shy the other day, and I told my husband yesterday, I don't like that word for him. That's not what it was, I don't think. I would say reserved.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a certain reservedness that my husband also does have when he's on that side of it.
Mm-hmm.
The contrast would be that my husband is blessed with quite a lot of volume with his voice naturally without even trying.
Really?
Yeah. It's really definitely a gift. And my father did not use his outside voice many times at all. He had quite the reserved volume level.
Maybe more restrained with his volume. Yeah.
Right. And I would say
reserved.
possibly because he was often speaking into a speaker, talking to someone on the radio. You know, that could be, or even a speaker system in front of a classroom. So he didn't have to use his full vocalies.
That makes sense because doing this podcast, and listening back and editing it, I have noticed how I don't have to talk as loud as I think, especially in this medium, that you can get your point across without being too loud. But it's funny, yeah, we chose two people on the podcast. Both of us can sometimes get a little loud, so we're sorry for the regular listeners. Hopefully we don't burst your eardrums too much.
I would take offense to, there's no one that could compare to him. I mean, he was intellectual. His humor, talking about humor, was intellectually above. If you weren't listening, and if you didn't have a certain level of intelligence, you would never get his jokes. I mean, they would just, go over people's heads. So, his humor was incredible, and that's where I think Mark gets his punniness from, because there's a certain level there.
Yeah.
But as far as I took the organ for organ lessons when I was a youth. Never got past, when the Saints come marching. It's another story.
That did you in?
Did me in. He could play the piano wonderfully, but that wasn't his main instrument. His main instrument was the cello. And he played the first chair in the orchestra for how many years? So for him to become, for me to, she married way below her father's abilities. The guy was incredible. Anyway, I wish I could meet him. I mean, I wish he was here.
No, I wish I could have met him. I mean, he's had such a lasting impact. I mean, just the stories that you've told about him and your mother. And I know Lily never met him. Obviously, she knew your mother, Grandma Joan. But even how much he has formed people he never met because of it. Just from everything you have said, it sounds like he used his life so well. He just lived a full life. And I always am rebuked whenever I hear stories about him because I'm thinking like, wow, the amount of time I waste on stuff I shouldn't be spending time on when I could be using it on stuff that's going to have more of a positive impact on the people around me. And that's part of the reason that I wanted to do this podcast, was wanting to be more mindful of how we can be impactful for the people around us. And I think that our culture can encourage more isolation and self-focus. And I wanted to do this partly because I wanted to combat that, of just that idea of we can help those people around us. We can impact them positively. And I'm sure it sounds like your dad believed that with how he lived his life. I mean, you could speak to that better than I could, but that sounds like the kind of person that he was.
You never, I mean, maybe you did because you lived with him, but the times that I ever met him, never. I mean, this man has 11 kids. He's an author. He's a teacher. He's blah, blah, blah. All those things I just said. Never was he ever discouraged. Did I ever see him, And he kind of just, oh, by the way, he was a deacon in church, always, every time I knew, ever since I've known him. He's been a deacon at the church. So not only with all the responsibilities that he had at school and his family, and he had responsibilities at church, never discouraged whatsoever. I said, wow, unbelievable.
Yeah, I think when he put his trust in God, he really, really did. And he didn't let things fester. If something bothered him, he didn't let it just get worse and worse. He tackled the problem, you know? He wrote a letter to Dr. Bob one time, and it was about a certain TV program going on in the nursery there that he didn't think was appropriate for young Christian children. And I mean, I think it was appropriate. He, with probably the most children in that place, would be the author of that letter, and he got people to sign it and brought it in. And yeah, you appreciate that, because he really did know that he could have an impact, and he wouldn't know whether or not his voice would have meaning unless he tried to have communication to the authorities about it. And also, a parent can't know what their children would be good at unless they give them opportunity to spend time with anything like music, art, who knows what kind of crafts or whatever a child's going to have their gifts in. If they sit around all day watching TV, they're not going to spend enough time. So,
And what was the name of that program that just to get it on the record?
the program,
Yeah, that your dad took offense to? Go ahead, say it. You can say it.
Sesame Street.
Yes.
That one.
But
But
by
yeah.
the way, their family did not ever have a TV.
We didn't have a television.
One
So
bit.
I think, yeah, when I was
No
a
screens in
4-year-old,
their house.
I remember our dad giving our TV away to, ironically, our pastor in Syracuse, New York. So yeah, maybe, yeah, for whatever reason. So I didn't get to watch Underdog anymore, or see those NBC open up rainbow kind of peacocks anymore.
You never watched Gilligan's Island?
No.
Hogan's Heroes?
They came after we gave our
Oh,
TV
my
away.
goodness.
Underdog was one of my main, Yogi Bear, those kinds. But yeah, so
You never saw
I
Lassie?
appreciate so much that we didn't have a TV, because so many of our family members were able, very young in life, to figure out what they were good at doing. And, even sewing, I don't think we would have had the patience to sew and make dresses for our mom and each other. If we had wasted time watching TV. So I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And that has lasted for generations, just that whole idea of realizing time passes when you're wasting it just so fast, and you'll never know what you could have done with that time.
Yeah. Well, you guys have been married for many years, as you previously said, 30, 34, 44.
43.
Coming up
man.
at 44.
This is bad.
Coming close to 44. December 18th.
So you've been married for almost 44 years, and you've had lots of life experiences. You've had many trials, hard times. We've talked about some of them on this podcast. How did the two of you get through those hard times together as a married couple? How did you navigate that and try to make those hard weeks great weeks together? I'm just curious. I know it's kind of a deep question, but because as married couples, to have a marriage that has gone on that long and been successful, you have to find a way to navigate those hard times and not just have them be a bad week after another because it's hard, but find a way to make it a great week.
Right.
So do you have memories of that where
Right.
even with Julia, like
Right.
how you got through those weeks together?
I remember so much. Okay, you heard earlier when we were doing mic check how he memorizes so well scripture, and I memorized the King James version because that's what we had back when I was in 3rd grade, and I needed to earn a free week of camp, and I could only earn that by memorizing 300 verses at this one time. So I can only think in King James sort of, but I love that he can take different translations and continue to learn the same verses. But throughout our marriage, he has been able to just pull out an appropriate verse, a promise from God, or an assurance of some type that God is with us at every moment and he will continue to be with us. And like when Julia was born, I remember he just got the whole family together and said, children are a blessing. They're heritage from the Lord, and let no man call a curse what God calls a blessing. So he put some of those together. And that was such a comfort at the time. And throughout other trials, there have been verses that he'll just remember to say, and that can just kind of be the theme verse when the sad or bad or horrible thoughts come along, just to solidly trust in God with the memory of his promises that he's always got right on the tip of his head. He's got and at night when the kids had anxiety, maybe the anxiety was lasting through the day, but he was sensing it. He had a beautiful verse he would tell the kids at night. Do you remember that one? In peace, in peace.
In peace I will lie down and sleep, for you alone, O Lord, will keep me safe.
It was so beautiful.
Beautiful verse to go to sleep by.
Yeah, Lily wrote that in a circular form. Probably on a paper plate, and then cut off the edges and put it at the bottom of the staircase before they went up to bed. So that was like a focal point right before they turned up.
Now we have a whole hallway in our house upstairs
of
all for beautiful lettering and verses and stuff. It's one of my favorite walls in the house. Just pause there for a second.
Yeah, you take it one day at a time. And remember the verse that give us this day our daily bread, because there's just it's like Abraham Lincoln. I keep going back to that day. I mean, that quote that he says, the best thing about the future, it comes one day at a time. Because if you have to think about all the ramifications of what you would go crazy.
Yeah.
You'd go crazy.
Yeah. And what kind of qualities did you see in Oma that got you through those hard times? What things?
Stability, constant stability. She's never, this woman here across the table here had given birth to 9 children. Never once, ever, has she ever had been in any kind of emotional wreck, so to speak. There's never been a time. Through all pregnancies, from the beginning of the pregnancy to the delivery, has she ever been anything more than stable and just a perfectly strong individual? I know some folks have a tougher time with that emotionally, but not this girl. She is just as even keel as they come, and anything that when I stole her from her family at the ripe old age of 22, they didn't like it because Ruth was the second oldest, and she was the nanny to the entire family, and no doubt the reason I got so accomplished was because of her, because she took and helped out with all the other kids and the siblings, and they did not appreciate too much when she got married. That's why we frequently visited, because I'll bring her back. She won't be gone forever. And so it was very good that we could stay close by until all the kids, especially with passing away at 55, 9 children still in the home, and it was good to be close by to be able to help with anyway, and through all that, she's as strong and steady as able. Just amazing at her, shall I say stoicism? Would that be the right term? I don't know if that would be the term or not, but she never thinks of herself, ever. Ever.
I beg to differ, but thank you. I would say that I had my moments where I was like completely, honestly, appropriately, weeping or whatever it was that the emotion needed to be. And he was my stability through that. And so he would know my favorite whatever and bring it to me at the right time. It's just like when you know someone that closely, you are completely honest about how you feel, but the spouse can know just the right recipe to help you feel good even through those terrible moments.
Yeah.
Maybe in the moment, but I don't remember them. And of course, maybe this is the 66-year-old brain talking, but I don't remember any really way out behaviors that some people have to deal with. And it's just been extreme blessing because, again, her selflessness is just
It is legendary
incredible.
in our family.
I mean,
It
what
is.
in the world? It's a great trait to emulate for all mothers out there, all spouses out there, really. But it's been, I think that's the way that has allowed us 43 years. One of the big things to allow 43 years, going on 44, heading close to 44.
Well, it sounds like sacrificial love has been a big part of it, and that especially as a mother sacrificing for your family and your children, it brings that stability because they know that their mom is going to be there for them. And when you can, I know as a recent father, still trying to figure it out, the moments when I can't get over my own selfishness and be selfless, it's the best feeling in the world. So I'm sure living a life where you have that character and then your spouse being able to see that is the stability you need to get you through years and years of everything that life brings to you. But it sounds like from what you're describing that you have that same steadfastness that you described in your dad. So I'm sure that he would be I know he'd be very proud to see who you have become. And I mean, it's just this,
To be sure.
you have that same legacy. I feel like when people talk about your dad, when I hear them talk about the reverence and kind of that's how people talk about you as well, because you just had such an impact on all of, especially the children. I mean, that's one of the reasons I love Lily so much is that she just has this way with kids where they are calm around her. We serve in church and I walk up and down the halls, just kind of keeping an eye on things. That's my job, letting people in through the door, but Lily's in there. And every time I walk by the door, there's like 5 kids just calmly huddled around her. It's always the ones who are a little bit more anxious. She puts them at ease. And that she obviously got from you. It's like all the kids just gravitate towards you because you just have that kindness and selflessness, which I just cannot imagine the legacy that we'll continue to have with how many grandchildren do you have now?
15.
Yeah. So, and who knows how many you end up with. That number is still growing. So,
Is there something you want to say?
we're not on the podcast.
Something you just said, if you don't mind me
Yeah, of course.
remembering, one of my dad's favorite word was gratifying, and which was the way he said he felt when we would, get the A average or just do an amazing job playing our concerts or just anything that would make him proud. He wouldn't say, "You make me so proud." He says, "That's quite gratifying." Which, I mean, when you talk about Lily and and you're talking about selflessness on the part of the parent, but the reward for whatever it is that the parent needs to do, that gratifying feeling, I know we're created to get that reward of that feeling of gratification of our children just serving God and doing the right thing and being successful in their endeavors.
Yeah. I just found out one of my coworkers is expecting their first child, and I was just trying to put into words the joy you feel as a parent, but I was like, I feel like I can't do it justice, but I'm excited for him to experience that, just the reward of it.
Beautiful.
Well, we've been recently trying to do a challenge every week, and the challenge is tied to you. So when I first started dating Lily, I would spend a lot of time at your house, and I have many memories of taking up way too much of your time just standing in your kitchen talking to you about anything and everything. And I just remember how at home you made me feel. And looking back, I'm sure I was like all the other people in and out of your house because you guys have a very open house. in many ways inconvenient, but you never made me feel like that. You always had time to just talk, listen about my day, to tell me stories about your family. And one thing that is true about both of you is how welcome you make everyone feel in your home. That's just been everyone who knew you when they were growing up and are now adults, always, whenever they talk about you, talk about how much fun it was to be at your house. And when Lily and I talk about being hospitable, I always try to model it off of you guys, and that you just make people feel like they belong there. And that's what I felt when I was dating Lily, just coming into the family. I didn't feel this, um, intense judgment or anything. I just felt very much welcomed, especially by you. So my challenge to everyone this week would be to try to be more like Oma and go out of your way to make, especially if you're going to have people over this week, or maybe make plans to have people over, and just make them feel the most at home that they possibly could. I think that if you can't get to it this week, then make plans a couple weeks from now, be hospitable, and try to have some of that Oma spirit. But I don't know about you, Opa. I think that we're gonna have her back on the show because we've barely tapped into what we could have talked
Yeah,
about today. It's
for
gone
sure.
by very quickly. But I would hope that we can have you back on soon and go over more stories and just delve into it more.
Yeah, because she could make everyone have a great week.